Welcome to Resilient Minds 365, where we discuss the resilient stories of entrepreneurs, professionals, and students with mental illnesses to encourage you to strive, thrive, and live in abundance. I'm your host, Cleoni Crawford. Welcome to another episode of Resilient Minds 365. I'm your host, Cleoni Crawford. Today we have a special guest with us, guys. We have Marques Ogden with us. Marques Ogden, who is he? Well, he was born and raised in Washington, D.C. He attended Howard University and graduated with a degree in business finance. And then he was drafted in the NFL in 2003. He's married to his wife, Bonnie, has a stepdaughter, Ava, and daughter, Farah, and they reside in Raleigh, North Carolina. Marques is currently a international keynote speaker, executive business coach, business consultant, and best-selling author. Retired after 5 years to pursue a career in construction contracting, at 27, Marques founded Kayden Premier Enterprises, and in 2010, Marques won the African American Subcontractor of the Year award in the state of Maryland. Though he soon went bankrupt, losing almost $2 million on one project in a matter of 90 days. During his darkest hours, Marques pulled himself together, got a part-time job as a custodian, and with hard work and determination, became an inspirational keynote speaker, executive coach, best-selling author, and marketing leader, helping to build the success of others. We found his extreme humbleness and brutal honesty incredibly inspirational. So with that said, I now present to you Marques Ogden. Marques, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Cleoni. How are you?
I'm doing super fantabulous. That's my word. I coined it.
Love it. Love it.
Yes. So with that said, tell us a little bit more about your profession, what you're doing now as a coach and everything that you're doing right now.
So, Cleoni, I do a lot of keynote speaking, things on leadership, marketing, sales. I do a lot of work when it comes to improving healthy culture. And I also do a lot of work when it comes to helping people understand how they have to really brand themselves, but in the same token, how you have to kind of make sure that when you're talking to people, you do three major components. You have to have emotion, build trust, and you have to make sure that you can help people rationalize or logically make them see that you are the right person to work with to help them get where they're trying to go.
Okay, cool. And tell us some more about you were in the NFL as well. Tell us a bit.
Correct.
When did you, what made you decide that you wanted to be in the NFL? Like, what was that your dream as a child? Or?
No, Cleoni, actually, it wasn't a dream of mine. I wanted to go to college to be an investment banker and work on Wall Street. But right before my last year of college, my last season, the NFL started living. I saw people started coming to my workouts, started coming to, my practices, games. I started getting scouted. I started seeing my names in different draft books for the NFL. I said, well, shoot, if everybody thinks I can play the NFL, I might as well think I can too. And so I worked hard and I pursued the amount of hard work it took to get to that level. And I did it and I executed. And I'm actually the first and only offensive lineman, which is a certain position in football, Cleoni, to be drafted to the NFL from Howard University.
Wow, that's amazing. And you went to Howard. That is an amazing accomplishment. And I mean, Howard is like definitely well known as an HBCU. So how was your experience there at Howard?
Oh, Howard was great. Great education, great people, great background. Just everything about it was fantastic and 5-star, which really made me understand that going to Howard and being around all that legacy, rich education really helped me. It helps me even today, Cleoni, in my job as a speaker, consultant, and a best-selling author.
Awesome. Amazing. Okay. So now we're going to go into deep dive into the interview. I'd like to know a little bit about your mental health diagnosis and when you were diagnosed.
So I was diagnosed with mental health issues when I was in college. I was 19 years old. I was diagnosed with anger management, and I was diagnosed with depression. I really had that issue from my parents' divorce when I was 8, but I kind of just talked to people, but there wasn't a clinical diagnosis until I almost got kicked out of Howard for having some issues with authority, listening to people. And that's when I was diagnosed by the clinicians at Howard University as, again, having anger management, having depression issues.
Okay, I understand. Okay. So tell us a bit more about your mental health story of resilience. When did you have your lows? How did you get there? And then how did you bounce forward?
There's two big lows in my life. One was when my father passed away unexpectedly. That sent me into a deep, deep, dark depression. I got hooked on alcoholism, painkillers, nightlife, because I already had my NFL career was coming down because I was injured a lot. But when he passed away, Cleoni, that was my real mental health first real dark moment. And it took me about 6 months of feeling sorry for myself and excessive drinking, but thank goodness I got out of that. Then my second real rock bottom moment was when I was a custodian in September 2013 working in Raleigh. And I had someone's trash and rotten meat and banana peels and horrible, protruding, nasty garbage clearly got over my body, my skin, my clothes. And that was a wake-up call for me. But it was my lowest mental health point because I also realized at that point that I was, again, clinically depressed. Again, I had an addiction issue with alcohol and with painkillers. And that moment woke me up, but it was still my purest rock bottom moment because it really made me realize how far down the rabbit hole I had gone and how bad my mental health had gotten once I moved to Raleigh, which was 6 months earlier.
Okay. So tell us a bit more about, so with your NFL career, when it came to an end, how was that? Did that impact your mental health in any way?
Oh my God, absolutely. It was such a negative impact on my mental health because I had been playing football clearly for so long, so many years. I had put my life, my blood, sweat, and tears into football. Then to be told, Marques, you're done, go away. It's kind of like the NFL divorced me. And that was a really hard time for me emotionally. Again, excessive drinking, nightlife, and just feeling worthless because I had no identity, Cleoni, outside of football.
Right. Wow. That sounds a lot to go through.
It was.
Definitely. So the next question I have, so what did you have to do to overcome or bounce back from your low points? List all resources that you thought were applicable.
So I ended up, first things first was I ended up getting some help. I sought out some free help through, Medicaid, and because I couldn't afford any insurance, I got some free help through to some different, therapists and things like that. And then what really turned me around was, Cleoni, I got someone I could talk to, like it wasn't a therapist, it was like an accountability partner. And I was working towards my strengths, which were being good at communication, being good at helping people and wanting to speak. And that's why I said I want to become a speaker. So as I was seeing my therapist, getting back on some good medications, trying to develop some healthy habits, I had an accountability partner, and I was able to use that person to help me stay on track and try to hit goals for my business while I still did things to pay the bills as a custodian, coaching football, etc. But the therapist was a huge help. The medication was a life changer, but my accountability partner was huge in helping me to see that, in order to get where you want to go, Marques, you have to stay on track and you can't let yourself get knocked off the path just because you have a bad day.
Okay. Wow. It's very important that you invest in those kind of people, like having that extra support, you know what I mean? Whether it's a coach or accountability partner or a consultant, it's very important to surround yourself with people. Cause I mean, you can't, if you want to go far, you need to have other people around you to kind of hold you accountable. And yeah, I think that's very important.
One of the things I talk about in order to realign your mindset, Cleoni, is you have to have your foundational support group that you can lean on to help you push forward in times of uncertainty and or adversity. And if you don't have that, then you can sometimes feel isolated. And when you start to feel isolated, that's when depression can set in, anxiety, stress. So I really also work on just today having a strong support group of friends, colleagues, associates, where I don't ever feel that if I'm having a bad day. Like I used to feel like I had a bad day before, it became automatically, I would get into that state of depression.
Okay. So tell us a little bit more about what your depression looked like. You said it was like the nightlife, it was alcoholism. How, like, what was it like for you? And when did you realize it's like, you know what, I need to get help, whether it's medication or whether it's therapy? What was it like?
So I remember the nightlife and all this stuff happened when I was in football, and I kind of worked my way through that first part. But I had another issue with depression after I lost my business. And I was just recently married. I've been married now for 6 years next month. And as we were married for probably about a year and a half. And I was just constantly angry. I was constantly like just feeling down, and nothing made me happy. And I remember my wife saying, look, it's not my job to make you happy. My job is to be here for you. Your job is to make yourself happy. And that got me really upset, because I was like, well, what do you mean? You're my wife. You're supposed to help me out. And so, and then that's when I realized the next morning I woke up, I was like, wow, I really just got very loud with my wife. I just got very confrontational with her. And it wasn't anything she did. She was making a statement and she was right. And I need help, and I got to get help now. And I actually called the NFL, Retired Players Association, and they got me to see a therapist, like a therapist. I saw her once a week for a year, and it was life-changing. So what really happened was the depression I saw set in when I was talking to my wife, and the next morning I woke up and realized that talking to her the way I did, it was not healthy for her, for me. And if our marriage is going to work, I've got to change now.
Yes, definitely. I'm glad that they had the resources available to help you, because sometimes, finding help with when you're dealing with mental health challenges can be very
hard.
Very
hard.
Yeah, definitely. So my next question to you is, what are 3 things you wish you had available when you were at your lowest point?
Number 1, I wish I had a mentor / coach. Number 2, I wish I would have had, my father who I could call to help me through that tough time. And 3, I wish I had a good doctor to go to start getting help right away. Because at that time, I was in financial distress. So I couldn't really afford going to the doctor. I couldn't afford all the things that I needed to afford. So that was what it was. I needed a good mentor / coach. My father would have been awesome. And I needed a good doctor to go to help me start to turn what was going on in my mind into a better disposition than to continue to feed it negativity, doubt, and adversity at that time.
Okay, understood. Yeah, definitely. Okay, what was my next question? Sorry. Excuse me. My next question. So with that said, what words of hope can you give to our listeners?
If you're having trouble, if you're having dark thoughts or depression thoughts, or you're anxious or stressed, pick up the phone and call someone you trust. I don't care if it's a sibling, a parent, a good friend, someone in your circle. It doesn't matter who it is. Pick up the phone and call them right away. Yes. If you start to sit there and start thinking about all of the negativity, all of the things that are going on, you're going to continue to feed your mind and seep into your mind self-doubt, criticism, and just plain, you can't get it done. And you deserve better. So if you're feeling like you don't have any hope, pick up the phone and call someone in your inner circle now and talk it out and start to get your mindset shifted back into a positive mindset.
Well, those are some really good, powerful words. Definitely. I love it. So with that said, we are going to switch a little bit in topics. As you can see behind me, there's a book and it's called The Music of My Life. Basically, that book is a book that I talk about music therapy, and I also talk about my battle with bipolar disorder. So with that said, I ask you this question. What type of music do you like?
I love R&B. I'm a huge R&B fan. I like the rhythm. I like the blues. I like the flow. I like a lot of the words being said. So I'm a huge R&B guy.
Awesome. Yes, definitely. And if you were to think of one song that best describes your journey, what would it be and why?
Man in the Mirror, Michael Jackson. Because not until I actually looked myself in the mirror, Cleoni, and said, Marques, you are the culprit. Marques, you made the mistakes. Marques, you got over leverage. You made the bad decisions. Until I faced my reflection, Cleoni, my life was hell. The minute I faced my reflection and I stopped running from Freddy Krueger in the mirror, that's when life got better.
Okay. Wow. The Man in the Mirror. Love that song. Very good song. I remember when I had my own period where I had my own period where I actually looked myself in the mirror and I said, my name is Cleoni. I have bipolar and that is okay. And just that little moment can change your whole trajectory.
Change your whole life. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. I'm Marques Ogden. I was an addict. I was depressed. I was anxious. I had anger management issues, and I am now okay. But I've had those things. I don't run from them, and that's what it was.
Definitely, definitely. Perfect. So, Marques, how can we stay in touch with you? What are your social media handles?
People can find me on Facebook, Marques Ogden. They can find me on Instagram at Marques Ogden. They can find me on LinkedIn, Marques Ogden, Twitter at Marques_Ogden, or you can find us at our website, www.marques, MARQUES, Ogden, OGDEN.com. Get in touch with us. Reach out to us. Love to connect with you, love to chat with you, and see if we can help you turn your goals into accomplishments.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Marques. Basically, all that information will be put in our show notes. So anyone who wants to get in contact with you, they'll be able to see that information there. So with that said, and to all you resilient minds out there, until next time, please subscribe to us on all our platforms and don't forget to rate the show and leave a review for us on Apple Podcasts. Also, join the community of resilient minds and sign up for our monthly newsletter at CleoniCrawford.com. Be sure to grab a copy of my book, The Music of My Life, on all Amazon marketplaces to get to know me better. And if you can think of one person that will receive value from today's show or connect with Marques's testimonial, please share it with them. Feel free to take a screenshot of this week's episode of the podcast and tag us on Instagram. You can tag myself at Only Cleoni or Resilient Minds 365 and today's guest at Marques Ogden. And remember, mental health is not a death sentence. Despite your illness, you can strive, thrive, and live a life of abundance. Until next time, I'm Cleoni Crawford, and I'm signing off.